This completely contradicts what Anthony Albanese was claiming about integrity during the election campaign. And it comes back to the insularity of Canberra. As you say, Alex, the place is not a bubble, it's a concrete bunker. As someone who's been in Parliament for 3 years, is it possible to lose touch with reality when you spend long hours up on the Parliament House?
Look, I think it's a very, very strange building. You'd know it well, of course. And of course, what I find is that you have to almost tell yourself to remember that it is not the real world when you walk in there. And it's because, human beings are human beings. I think when you get into there, you're surrounded by whatever the message of the day is. As I say to people quite routinely, the media section, as you know, is on the second floor. And it's almost like, if you can imagine it virtually in your brain, it sort of seeps down through the corridors, whatever the media issue of the day is. And quite often those are things driven by left-wing outlets like The Guardian or the ABC. The Voice as one, that's the issue of the day last week and the week before. Things like, the ICAC position, none of which people in the real world are talking about. People in the real world are talking about interest rates, they're talking about mortgages, they're talking about high petrol prices. And yet, for some reason, that building just seems to get stuck on the detail of, things which are important to the ABC, number one, things which are important to the Guardian, number two. So I do think it is difficult. People are heavily influenced, I think, by whatever the narrative is. And I think we need politicians to break free of that and start, telling us what's really going on out there in the community. Many do that, I should say. I shouldn't just put a broad brush over that. But, unfortunately, the building is captured by the media cycle.
Senator, very quickly before you go, I know you don't live in New South Wales, but this is something that is happening right across the Liberal Party. Matt Keane has been elected unopposed to Deputy Leader of the New South Wales State Government. Ordinary punters can only imagine the backroom deals that went down to achieve this result. Senator, is this what former Prime Minister John Howard meant when he described the Liberal Party as a broad church?
Well, I don't know the details of the deal there, except to say that, obviously political parties do have their machinations. And look, the party is a broad church and it should be a broad church, but we've got to be careful, I think, when we get a singular voice in a political division. We don't want the party leaning too far to the left or too far to the right. And I think we do see a variance of that, from division to division. But ultimately, we need all those voices. And, I think this party is at its absolute best when it speaks for Menzies' Forgotten People, which was Morrison's Quiet Australians. People have to remember that. The Liberal Party was never the party of big business, despite what the Greens and Labor want to say. It was never the party of organised unionism. It was always the party for mum and dad in the middle. And we are at our absolute best when we speak to those people, and we have to keep doing that.